Hi, good evening, everyone. I'll hand over to Mr. Lamb, who is our head of department.
Thank you, Ms. Tidbury. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here this evening. I know it's quite difficult because it's a long day, and I know people have been at school and at work and everything else. I did do an assembly the other day with regards to the subjects that we're doing today, but I just thought I'd go a bit more in depth as to how and what you would be studying over the 2 years if you were to choose the subject. So first of all, as Ms. Tidbury said, my name's Mr. Lamb. I'm the head of department for computing, ICT and business, and there's only one other staff member in the faculty, and that's Mrs. Stone. So we are the two people involved in teaching either computing, ICT or business studies. However, I'm going to confuse you now because nowadays they don't call it computing, ICT or business. We've got some different titles for the actual awards that we're doing. So to give it its full title, the first award that I'm going to be talking to you tonight about is the BTEC Technical Award in Digital Information Technology. That's a handful. We just condense it down to BTEC DIT. Okay, Digital Information Technology DIT. So if you hear me refer to it as DIT, that's what it means. It's the IT award. The second subject that we offer is what used to be called business studies, is now called enterprise. And enterprise obviously encompasses all businesses within within the business world. And enterprise is it's a posh word for business. Doesn't mean anything more than that. We could call it business enterprise, but the full title is just called enterprise. So apologies if I'm confusing people already, but I don't want to sort of say business studies and digital information technology in future, and you look at it and you think, what is this? What is this DIT? What is this enterprise? Okay, so the DIT award, as I said, is the replacement for the previous ICT award, and it makes it's more wider and more varied in terms of the topics that's included in the qualification, and that's to reflect on the changes, the increasing changes to the IT world, which means that obviously there's more subjects in there, and there's also different subjects for the first time that's been added as an importance. So, for example, cybercrime and cybersecurity is on the it's one of the hottest words on the streets at the moment with regards to companies, but also for crime detection in terms of that's where the jobs are now. It used to be the old programming jobs and IT technicians and whatever else, but it's now squarely moved into the world of solving cybercrime. The Enterprise Award is a replacement for the Business Studies Award. Okay, so now I hear this a lot, and I've been hearing this now for over 20 years, well, 30 years, if including when I was at college, and it really makes me angry that people still talk about it in that depth. It used to be true that many years ago that there are some institutions, well, namely Cambridge and Oxford, who didn't really regard the BTEC awards as being the same as or better than the GCSE or A-level qualifications, and that's absolute nonsense, because it absolutely is as good as, if not better. I'll go through that in a second, but it's just a different way of delivering the subject. Now, if you think about the subjects themselves, IT and business, we're not talking about qualifications there that lends itself to just sit in an exam at the end of 2 years. So that's not how it's delivered, and that's not how it's assessed, which arguably, that if you're not good at exams in the first place, is a better way for you to be assessed in terms of your ability. If you think of IT isn't just about sitting there and talking about computers, and neither is business studies. You don't run a business sat down in front of a computer or with a piece of paper and a pen. You're actually there demonstrating real life skills, and that's how it's delivered, and that's how it's assessed. So it's broken down, it's split into three, well, both qualifications. I'll talk about them so that I don't have to repeat, but both qualifications are broken down into three what we call components. Now, you can call them units, call them topics, whatever you want, but they're broken down into 3 parts. They're not quite equal. The assessed parts, the ones that you're doing coursework for, there's two components which are coursework assessed, and they make up 30% and 30%. So that's 60% in coursework, and there is a small exam that makes up the 40%. So 30% plus 30% plus 40% in my limited mathematics makes 100%. So you will study 3 components, 2 of which will be coursework, 1 will be an exam, and you will get an overall qualification. Your qualification is you'd add up the scores for the 3 components, use a formula, and you get the overall result. They're just as recognised and accepted by colleges and universities up and down the country as if they were GCSE grades. In fact, the courses themselves are more specialised and geared towards certain vocations and careers that some major employers actually prefer them, because of the fact is it actually prepares you for the real world, that you do pick up the skills as well as the knowledge. So it's not just about I can sit and examine it, but I actually understand it, I've applied it, and I've done it. So what can you achieve? Well, with GCSEs, it's you get a grade 1 to 9. If you're old school like me, that used to be the old A to U grades. But 1 to 9 is a simpler way of looking at it. But for the vocational qualifications for BTEC, they're slightly different. So, and it works to our favour, because with GCSEs, if you don't actually get a grade, you get a U. You don't actually pass anything, you fail. You technically, you don't really fail when it comes to BTECs. You just get a lower grade. So we start from the level 1, pass, merit and distinction, which is equivalent to GCSEs grades 1, 2 and 3. We then move on to the level 2, which is equivalent to the pass, merit, distinction and also a distinction star is equivalent to a 4, a 5.5, a 7 and 8.5. And the reasons for that is because obviously it doesn't sit exactly the same as what a GCSE grade does. So you will get an aggregate score in between of those, but the highest grade you can get, a distinction star, is equivalent to the grade 9. So those are the 3 components that are covered in DIT, and I'm just going to quickly gloss over them because it's too much information and not enough time really. Component 1 covers interface design and development. Component 2 covers data collection, so that's about collecting data, using data, presenting data. And component 3, which is the exam unit, looks at digital solutions, organizations and activities. So we'll look at things like modern technology, threats and legal issues. The skills that you develop are to design digital products and interfaces, project planning, cybersecurity, system development, technology in the workplace and commercial awareness. What you need to be successful in the subject is the enthusiasm for ICT and computing, positive attitude to learning, the ability to meet deadlines and to work independently, and to act on instructions given to you. What can it lead to? Well, it can lead to further qualifications. It can lead on to studies in both college and university, and wide variety of disciplines ranging from ICT, computing or games development, or you get yourself into a computer-related discipline. Those are the sort of jobs that not most people will go on to when they finish their qualification. Okay, so moving on to enterprise. Those people there, wouldn't you want to be one of those people? Okay, self-made billionaires, and even the least successful there is worth 6 billion. It would be really good if we all had one of these people, a parent that we could turn to for a small $1 million loan and bill ourselves that way. But most people don't. Most people start off like this. Okay, with a £10 loan from his mother, this 9-year-old boy made £8,000 in a matter of months from his bedroom. Okay, selling free-range eggs, believe it or not. Okay, so a multi-billionaire in the making there. So just the same as the DIT, there are 3 parts to it. 2 parts are coursework. One's a mini project developing what it's researching businesses. The other is, sorry, the exam itself is about promoting businesses. So you'll be looking at things like promotion, advertising, sales, all that kind of thing about how businesses work. In year 11, for the final project, you get a chance to pitch your business that you choose to put together Dragon's Den style. So you will be pitching your idea to a panel of business experts and trying to win over their support for your business. So what do you do with a qualification? Well, again, you can move on to a level 3 qualification at college and possibly onto university. Or you can move on to further studies within the related discipline of accounting, economics, law, marketing. You can get yourself an apprenticeship in administration, or better still, become an entrepreneur. If you do get rich and famous, don't forget, I'm Mr. Lamb. I only take a small 5% cut. So that was a very quick whistle-stop tour of the subjects that are available in my department. If you want to know for any further information you want to ask, well, there's a parents' evening that's coming up in 2 weeks' time. Please make an appointment and get your questions ready. Otherwise, if you want to drop me an email at any time, I will get back to you as soon as possible. There's also the Pearson website where you can get some information with regards to the qualifications and overview. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. I'm sorry if I spoke too quickly, but there's a lot to cram in such a short period of time. Thank you very much, and hope to speak to you soon. Take care for now, and see you all next week.